Hey guys, this week I'm going to show you how I made this maple plate. Stick around. Hello and welcome to this week's edition of BS with AJ. As I said before, this week I'm going to show you how I made this maple plate. It's a pretty simple project. We're going to be using the lathe to do it. If you enjoy videos like this, be sure to like, share, and subscribe, and consider supporting BS with AJ on Patreon so we can do bigger and better projects for you guys. Don't forget to hit that notification bell so you know when I post new videos. And if you have any questions or comments, be sure to leave those down in the comment section below. Let's go ahead and get started. Alright guys, like I said before, this week we're going to be making a maple plate. This is soft maple that I'm using. I went ahead and cut the square out. I've used a compass and cut my circle out on the bandsaw and everything. You don't have to cut a circle out. It just saves a lot of time whenever you're using the lathe. And it's less of a chance that you're going to hit a big catch and then break a piece off. So I like doing it this way, but you can put it on there square and do the same thing. It's not a big deal if you don't have a bandsaw. I'm going to be using a glue block or a waste block, whatever you know it as. I've got it attached to a faceplate here. And I like attaching my stuff when I do glue ups like this. I like using hot glue because it holds really well. It's really fast setting. And I mean, it's really just convenient. All you got to do is plug your glue gun in and let it warm up. Now the way I normally like to do it, I've already got my center marked here, and I used a little awl to put a mark here in the middle, so that way my tailstock will fit right into that, and I don't have to guess as to, I don't have to pay real close attention as to getting right in the middle of that. So basically, what I like to do is I'll take it and I'll put it on my tailstock like this, but I'll put a big glob of glue right here in the middle. And then I'll put it on here just like this, get it up pretty close, tighten that down, and then bring this up. And once you do that, you'll take your glue gun and come to the back side and go around the edge here where it touches your glue block. That way it has a really nice secure hold on it, and you don't have to worry about it coming off or anything like that. I've actually used this to drill 2 7/8 inch holes into a smaller piece of wood, and I've not had any issues with them coming off before. So this is a really secure method to use it, but you can do whatever you feel comfortable doing. Alright, our glue's had time to set up now. As you can see here, it's a little bit wobbly, and that's because this board had some cup in it. And with using rough sawn lumber, you're going to have some stuff that's kind of rough. If you went ahead and planed it down, then it'd be pretty well flat, and once you glued it up, you wouldn't have to worry as much. But that's a lot of extra work, and you lose a lot of material doing that. I'd rather just do that on the lathe, but that's just my personal opinion. The first thing I like to do is go ahead and flatten this all up here, make sure it's fairly round. And then I'll go ahead and try and put a little bit of a curve on here, just a little bit, to get everything even. And I'll do the same thing to the front side. The reason I'm doing that first instead of just going ahead and shaping it is so that right now it's going to wobble a little bit, which is going to cause my lathe to move around. And I'd rather just go ahead and straighten it out a little bit so that way I can turn my speed up and actually cut through this, and when I'm shaping it, it'll be a lot smoother. It'll also go a lot faster. So that's just my personal opinion. You can go ahead and start shaping it just like it is and not worry about all that. But I find it easier to do it this way because you can turn the speed up and get it done faster and get smoother cuts, of course. So let's go ahead and get started on that now. Alright, now that I got it all pretty well evened out, what I'm going to start doing now is shaping. I'm going to start from this side and kind of hit a really sharp angle just so I can make this plate a little bit wider and a little bit deeper. You can make it whatever shape you want to. I'm just going to do just a real sharp radius, and that's all I'm going to do. It's not nothing fancy or anything like that. Then we'll come back and kind of flatten this out a little bit, just with a real nice smooth curve here. And then we'll put our recess here, so that way we can turn it around and start working on the face of our plate. now to set your recess, what you want to do is take a pair of calipers, and then you'll just kind of get it about the same size here as your chuck jaws. Now I've got mine not in all the way, but pretty close. And I want to start small because, one, this is a smaller plate, but also if you start smaller, that way if you accidentally hit something and nick it, you can make it a little bit larger and it'll still fit on your chuck jaws. So basically all I'm going to do is I've got the calipers set here, and I'm going to use this over here on the plate. Let's turn over here. Alright, what we're going to do is we're going to turn this down on a really low speed. I'm talking no more than a couple hundred RPMs. Right now I've got mine set at about 200. So what we're going to do is we're going to take the calipers here, and we're going to find what looks like the center, and we're going to apply pressure to one side. And then you're going to see if it lines up with our other side. Don't touch this side. If you do, it's going to fling out of your hands. You just want to touch this side to your piece. As you see there, it doesn't quite line up. So what we need to do is just adjust it just a little bit here. Oop, wrong way. Alright, that one lines up really well. So I'm making that deeper so that way I don't mix them up with the other ones here. Right there. Alright, so now what we're going to do is use our parting tool here. It's a thicker parting tool. It's got a 45-degree bevel on it. Let's see if you can see this. Well, it's not going to focus, is it? It's got a 45-degree bevel on here. So we're going to be using that to set our recess. What we're going to do is we're going to set to where that angle is fairly flat, our piece here is fairly flat, right on that line. And we're going to push it in at that exact angle. Probably, it depends on your chuck jaws, but I'd probably like to go in about 3/16 of an inch. Maybe a little bit deeper than that, that's just guessing. But basically on your chuck jaws, let's see if it'll focus on this here. Yep, wrong thing. Here we go. Alright, on your chuck jaws, you'll see that it has these little ridges right there. Those are at about a 45-degree angle or so, and it's got little grooves here that's going to help it to grab onto it. If you made a flat cut into there and you tried to put that on there, it would only have pressure on the very inside part. So if you put it on that 45-degree bevel, it's going to have pressure evenly across those two little bevels there, and it's going to hold it a lot tighter and a lot better. So that's what you want to do. Like I said, we'll start small and we'll make that mark here, and that way if you accidentally move it the wrong way or if you get just the wrong angle or something like that, it's not a big deal. You can make it just slightly bigger and fix it. So let's go ahead and do that now. Alright guys, I went ahead and mounted it on my chuck so I can work on the inside of the plate here. I got my tailstock set up here. The reason I did that is because whenever you're cutting your outside area right here, you're putting a lot of pressure on this side. So it's going to try and come loose since that's just such a shallow recess. So you want to make sure to have your tailstock up here just to do your outside edges most of the way into the middle. And then when I get all that done, I like to take my tailstock out, finish all the middle part there, and sand it all down without the tailstock, of course. Now when you go to cut your glue joint, if you're using hot glue like I did, you want to turn your RPMs down to about 600 or lower whenever you're cutting that, and use a parting tool to cut your hot glue joint there. Because if you have it at a high RPM, all you're going to do is melt your hot glue, and as you're melting through it, it's just going to be re-sticking to it. So like I said, turn it down to a low RPM and slowly cut through that with a parting tool, and frequently clean your tool off of all the big balls of hot glue that kind of form on there in that layer, because otherwise you're just going to be re-gluing it as you're doing that. Once you get all that cut through the outside layer, you're going to want to put some pressure up at the top one way, and then your bottom hand on the bottom, you do the opposite, just to kind of get some leverage on that to bust that loose. So once you get all that done, you put your chuck on here, of course, put your tailstock up, and now what we're going to do is go ahead and start turning the inside. And you want to make sure that you keep an even thickness all the way through here. You can make it whatever thickness you like to make. I like to keep mine about 1/4 to 3/16 of an inch. I don't want to go too thin on them because there's a higher chance that they're going to break as you're turning it, and also as if you're selling it, it might break easier that way too. But like I said, the thickness, that's up to you. I normally do mine 1/4 inch to 3/16. And as you're turning this, you want to kind of start as close to the middle as you can, because that's going to be the deepest part. You'll kind of slowly work your way out here. And as you get down here, you want to frequently turn off your lathe and check it with your fingers to see how thick it is. That's a really good way to be able to tell, actually. You can feel the thickness difference as you're running your hands through, your fingers through there. So make sure and do that frequently as you're doing this, because you don't want to get it too thin. You don't want to have, you don't want to have it really thin up here and really thick at the bottom, or the other way around, or anything like that. It won't look as nice, and it'll weigh more, of course, too. Also, if it's not completely dry, if you have a thickness difference, like if it's real thin at the top and thicker at the bottom, there's a higher chance of it cracking if you're turning green plates. Now this is kiln drying, so I don't have to worry about that, but I don't know what you're turning. I'm just letting you know what I know. Alright, so let's go ahead and start shaping the inside of our plate now. Alright guys, and here's our final product. I hope you enjoyed this week's video. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe, and consider supporting BS with AJ on Patreon so we can do bigger and better projects for you guys. We'll see you next week.